Hey guys, it's me, Ninja77, also known as Nathan Franco, and I'm back with you today with a video essay on Touhou Project. What is Touhou Project, you may ask? Well, have you ever seen or heard of this thing? Well, it's called a Fumo, and it may or may not have put a pipe bomb in your mailbox. Anyways, there are multiple games in the Touhou Project series, including 19 mainline games, 11 spin-off games, and hundreds of unofficial games. It was developed by Zun and Team Shanghai Alice. And Touhou's 1 to 5 was originally made for a very old Japanese system that is quite hard to come by nowadays, called the PC 9800. Zun later decided to soft reboot the series by switching to Windows for Touhou 6 to whatever number we are currently on today. Then there's the spin-off games which vary between consoles and Windows, and the unofficial games that are everywhere. The prices of these games vary between 15 to 20 US dollars. I don't know why it's so expensive, but then again, these games were made by some poor dude from Japan who makes some really good music. Touhou Project is one of those franchises that seem to be everywhere. Unfortunately, nobody ever recognizes it because it's just a niche indie game from Japan. A lot of old media, specifically music, are actually remixes of songs from Touhou. These remixes include Bad Apple, You and Owen Was Her, which is also known as Last Brutal Sister Flandre S. But if you're really cultured, it can also be known as the Macroll. And the more recent, We Are Japanese Goblin. And then there's, of course, Night of Nights. And Galaxy Collapse for all of the rhythm game enjoyers out there. So, Touhou Project's music, and Danmaku, or Bullet Curtain in English, also served as inspiration and helped to popularize the bullet hell genre of quite a few popular games nowadays like Undertale, Just Shapes and Beats, Terraria's Empress of Light Boss, and a good amount of Terraria mods, Ahem Calamity. So, Part 2, Story, Gameplay, and Mechanics. Touhou Project, as mentioned earlier, is a bullet hell, although it could also be classified into other similar genres like shmup or shoot 'em up. But this only applies to the mainline games and some spin-offs though. That's because most of the spin-off games are actually fighting games with some very unique mechanics that involve flight and, guess what? A lot of projectiles.
Round 2. I see we got... You know, it's even harder to commentate for this game. I have even less of an idea what's going on. Whoa! Fire tornado!
I'm sorry. Anyways, the plot and stuff. Well, Touhou is one of those series / franchises that don't really have a consistent story throughout all the games. The only consistent thing about each and every game is the setting and the characters. But let's talk about the setting first. All the games take place in the land of Gensokyo. Gensokyo is the place where all the incidents, aka the game plots, happen. And according to lore, Gensokyo is the place where forgotten things end up. It is full of yokai, gods, fairies, and humans. In Gensokyo, there is no killing. They settle all of their affairs through these things called Battle of Bullets, where they create Danmakus to try and overwhelm their opponent until they are unable to battle anymore, and afterwards they usually become friends. And this one concept holds the entire context on why a lot of characters return in future games as allies, cameos, bosses, or playable characters. Controls. The controls of Touhou are very simple. For keyboard, arrow keys to move, Z to shoot, X to bomb, and Shift to focus. There's also the occasional C to use any special mechanics in the game. And for controllers, you probably just need to assign each input on your controller to a button. Mechanics. Focus. When you hold shift, your character will start focusing. What this means is that your hitbox will be visible, your movement speed will be lowered, and your shot, aka the attack, will change in some games. And why this is important is because, like, look at this. And this. These are, you will not survive without focus, trust me. Lives. You started with 3 lives, / hearts, sometimes 5, and you lose 1 every time you take a hit, unless you have a special ability active, or you pull off a death bomb. More on that later. You can regain lives through defeating bosses or reaching certain score milestones. Bombing. When you press X, you activate a powerful ultimate attack that will give you immunity frames, deal major damage to bosses, and instantly kill any enemy on screen. You can regain bombs in the same way as lives. And back to death bombing, it's basically a mechanic where if you perfectly time your input right before dying to a projectile, you will hear the death sound but not actually die. CC/continues. Every time you play through the game, you will usually have 3 to 5 continues depending on the game. Using the continues not only refills all of your bombs and lives, but it also maxes out your power. But it comes at the cost of not being able to unlock the extra stage for that game. More on that later. P items. These are the things that common enemies drop. P items are red squares with a P on them. They give power and it basically makes your attack better if you have a lot. But there's a catch. The catch is that you lose a lot of power when you die or lose a life. But whenever you die, the game drops some free power for you so that you don't get too weak when fighting a boss. Point items. Point items are blue with this symbol on it. The symbol means point in kanji, and what these items do are raise your score so that you can gain more lives. These do not decrease if you die or lose life. Difficulties. Each game has 4 difficulties: easy, normal, hard, and lunatic. Easy mode not only makes everything incredibly easy, but it also forces the game to go only until stage 5 instead of the usual 6, and it doesn't unlock the extra stage upon completion. Normal mode until lunatic mode are all basically the same thing, but the difficulty ramps up slightly for each mode you go higher. Normal is just the normal mode recommended to play the game. Hard mode is slightly harder for a better challenge, and lunatic mode is please do not play it, you will die. The extra stages are, as the name implies, additional stages that you unlock by beating the game in either normal, hard, or lunatic mode without using any continues, and they often contain fan-favorite characters and some of the best themes in the whole franchise. Part 3. Game elements. Well, visual elements. In my opinion, the art style of the mainline Touhou games kinda just suck. I know there are a few people that absolutely adore it, but honestly for me, I really just don't like the old round dollar style of the mainline games. Like, look at this. 4 out of 10. Then there's the spin-off games where, oh my god, I love it so much. Its style is like what I usually prefer in my games, aka anime, and honestly, it just looks great in my opinion. 8 out of 10. All in all, 6 out of 10. Auditory elements. Touhou music is the absolute best music that I've ever heard. Not only did it inspire so many tracks on a lot of famous games today, I am Undertale, but it also introduced us to what we in the Touhou community call Zunpets. They're just trumpets, used by the creator of Touhou Project, Junya Ota, or more commonly known as Zun, in a very unique style that we all love. Some of my favorite themes are Love Colored Master Spark, Maiden's Capriccio, Dream Battle, Septet for the Dead Princess, Silent Beast Spirits, and Pirate of the Star Spangled Banner. And then there's the fighting game music. Oh my god, the fighting game music, I love it also so much. What the team behind these games do for the music is either make entirely new tracks for mostly the menus and new characters, but, if the character is a returning character, the team takes their original theme and remixes it into something completely new. Like something really fast, something really cool, and like it's really, it stays true to the character, but it just makes it more fighting game style. I love it so much, they're really good. Have a listen to some of my favorites. 10 out of 10. Kinesthetic elements. My honest opinion on the game's gameplay, mechanics, controls, and etc. are that they're simple, but fun. In many ways, Touhou is just a very simple but very difficult roguelike. It's almost like an arcade game. For a game like Touhou, it's essential to have simple controls that anyone can pick up. That's why I give it a 10 out of 10. Thematic elements. Neither the mainline nor spin-off games never really dive too much into the lore of Touhou Project, but they often just give small hints or focus on the banter between your character and the boss. The only place you can really get lore from are the other official content like manga, wikis, interviews, and the unofficial mobile game, Touhou Lost Word. Overall, just playing the games won't give you too much lore, but the dialogue is pretty funny, assuming you can read Japanese or find an English patch somewhere. 7 out of 10. Part 4. Overall thoughts and comments. After careful consideration and 30 minutes of math to calculate an average score, because I forgot how to solve for it and was too stubborn to Google it, my honest rating of the game is a solid 8.25 out of 10. Restating what I said about the game's kinesthetic elements, Touhou is just a very simple and very difficult roguelike. It's almost like an arcade game. To me, the charm of Touhou comes from the difficulty and the bosses. I enjoy difficult games, and I enjoy roguelikes. Therefore, I love Touhou. But I'm not so much Undertale, I'm sorry. There's just something about trying over and over to avoid colorful little objects on my screen while admiring the beautiful patterns they create and listening to the amazing soundtrack that Zun composed. Thank you and have a great day.